Hey everybody, welcome back. How you doing? It's Hexacarbide here. We got our favorite drink of choice, adult beverage of choice here. We're about to do a little quick, tutorial on building the actual motherboard and doing all the CPU, socket the CPU. We're going to insert the RAM and do the hard drive, in this case, which is the NVMe SSD. So we got our favorite marshmallow playing in the background, so we're going to have you guys come along for the ride. So just stay right there for a minute. I'm going to get this motherboard out, and then we'll look at putting all this stuff together. All right? All right, we have our anti-static device connected. That helps. So this is the Aorus Pro Wi-Fi. Big fan of integrated Wi-Fi. Why spend extra when you can just have it integrated? And not only that, they're using some of the best Wi-Fi connectors from Intel that actually connect everything. So come on in here. Check out that beauty. Awesome board here. Doesn't feel too fragile or nothing like that, so kind of excited. Alright. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take all this extra plastic protection junk off of here. Of course, this motherboard lights up and all that fun stuff, and forgetting to take this junk off could be a funky mess. So definitely I recommend taking it off every time, and usually doing it right then and now. Alright, get that down here. So I tend to put in the NVMe SSD first. In this case, it's our Team Group 1 terabyte one. The reason I do that first is because it kind of can be tucked in here if you have a graphics card. We're not using a graphics card on this one, but it could kind of get in the way. I try to keep a certain process so that we don't interfere with entering or putting in everything else. And then we're going to put in the CPU, and then we'll put in the RAM sticks, and then I put on the cooler on top. So you'll check that out. So this is almost pretty much opened at this point. So check that out. That's a hard drive, NVMe, super fast, like 2 gigs up, 2 gigs down, read write. So pretty awesome. This isn't even a super fancy one. This is just a relatively budget friendly one, but at the same time, for what we're doing, it's going to make this computer go lightning fast. So let's get that in there. Choose your weapon. Let's see. Little screwdriver here. Slot 1. This is a Gen 3 PCIe NVMe. What that means is we're running on a Gen 3 PCIe lanes on the computer. Again, taking off all the plastic stuff. Don't forget that, because that can actually hurt your heatsink quite a bit and your NVMe drive. NVMe's do tend to get pretty hot because they got so much juice. Not so much juice, but so much kind of throughput going through them. Make everything work. So you socket that in real nice and neat. Let's see, where's our little NVMe screw here? Alright, we need a standoff. Oh, just gotta move the one we have. Alright.
Peace down.
Yeah. Man down. Alright, so let's be right back.
Well, I might as well show you the new PC desk. We have our good old cup holder. Nothing could be much better than that. And we have our fans and power supplies and Ryzen stuff, and our Epic headset holder. Plus our Epic gamer chair.
Yep. Had to get our trusty pliers here so we can move our standoff. Oh, she don't want to move. Maybe. Take one of the other ones.
Dad.
Yes? What's up, son?
Sorry.
You're fine. What's going on? Here we go. Got it. So there's different lengths to NVMe SSDs, and we have to put it in there first. And then we have a little extra piece that kind of locks it down into place. Make sure it's still in there properly. What's up, Eli?
Hi. Dad, can we go at the beginning of the film now?
We're doing the best we can with this. You just have to hang out, dude. Alright.
Hi.
Here's our heatsink with the plastic peeled off. We are not going to use the other lane, PCIe lane, but that's okay. We're also not using a graphics card because we have an integrated graphics CPU. Excellent. So I made a little mistake there trying to take this other standoff off, but that's okay. I found the one I was supposed to use on there, got it on there. Alright, so here's a key here. You want to undo the CPU socket so that it's ready to be engaged, and this is again with the AM4 socket. That's what the current Ryzens are on. The next gen, they're actually moving to a different one, so it's going to be kind of cool. They've had this one for a while, so you could actually pop in a new CPU quite frequently. Here she is. Ryzen 3200G, integrated graphics, 4 core, 4 threads. Nothing too fancy, but actually really good. Usually boosts up to like 3.8, 4 gigahertz, all core. We're going to do a mild overclocking. What you want to do is you want to find the little golden triangle. It's over in that corner. There's a golden triangle, little down there. Just got to make sure the two match up. Try not to drop it because these little pins could get damaged. You don't want to force it in, you just want to kind of drop it in. You just want to line it up, set it on down, lock it into place. And that's it. Big fan of doing this for everyone because it's so easy to do as long as you kind of mind your details. And I'm really looking forward to having another person at my work having a decent computer instead of the prefab Dells we have now, which are not great. Can actually be a lot more productive with this type of stuff. Alright, here's our 32 megahertz DDR4 RAM. There's 16 gigabytes of RAM, 8 a stick. With this type of thing, you want to go in slot 2 and slot 4 for using only 2 out of the 4 slots. So here we go. There's a place that actually lines them up in there to make sure they go in okay. Let's see if we got it in the right direction. Oh, I didn't. I got it the wrong side. Don't make my mistakes, people. Locked into place. Good to go. Same thing. All right. So we're most of the way there. We got our hard drive installed, ready to go. We have our RAM in there. We have our CPU in there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get our CPU cooler squared away. This particular CPU comes with a CPU cooler. So we're just going to take off these bracket holders. There are some out there that actually lock into these brackets. There's a back plate on here, so you got to be careful not to drop the back plate and stuff. But these right here have little hook-ons where for some actually just hook into the hook holders here and pressurize right on. The one we have actually has 4 screws, but it goes right into the pre-supplied back plate. There we go. Drink break. Cheers. So this is a Wraith Stealth Cooler. I think this is a, we'll say 65 watt TDP or total board power kind of thing when it comes to how much electricity is actually going through the CPU. This is more than enough. It's not very fancy, it's not very big, but it'll actually work really well for what we're doing. It comes with pre-applied thermal paste, so I don't even have to use any of the fancy stuff that I have, okay? And again, this CPU is so efficient on power, it runs so cool that we're not even gonna have this problem. And we'll benchmark it to make sure that everything's working correctly, but you don't even have to worry about it. So with that said, let's get this on here. Let's get it on and...
Dad?
Yes, bud, what's up?
Can we watch?
Sure, in a little bit. I'm busy right now.
Because I will watch the third action Mikey with that piggy and that pig. Beef pig.
Beef.
Maybe in a little bit, okay?
Bonuses of being live.
So one thing is, when you get these started, you generally want to kind of, when you're putting in the screws, they have self-tensioning screws, which is real nice. You really want to slowly tighten it all the way around when you get it started, to kind of get started on every single screw first, and then slowly work its way down. So I think I'm about there, honestly. Yeah, this one has a lot less tensioning, I guess, distance or Z height than some of the other ones. Yep. So you want to kind of do a crisscross pattern and then switch it up. I tend to keep the AMD symbol on the left. Usually interferes less with the RAM, which in this case it may or may not have. This is just a shield. You can actually have this removed. But with that said, this is the core that we got to connect to actually have this thing run at the right temperature and everything. So it has to pretty much just run this way. Then sometimes what I do is I just tuck it up in the top of the case. But let's see, CPU fan right there. All right, that's good to go. So technically, the majority of the functioning componentry of the actual CPU is connected, is ready to go. So that's kind of neat. With that said, you can see we have a nice, this is called VRMs, the voltage regulators. This is part of them. This is part of it. They actually have nice heat sinks on these, which look like they're upgraded from my first Aorus Pro Wi-Fi I've used. And then we also have an integrated IO shield or user interface module back here. Kind of everything's covered and looking good. This comes standard. This actual motherboard, if you're using a graphics card included, comes with an HDMI slot, which is probably what we'll end up using, and a DVI slot. Not too big fan of this, only because it's a pain in the butt because there's a bunch of different styles. But you can see we have a USB Type-C, USB 3.1, several 3.0s, 4 of them actually. We have an actual gigabit LAN, a 2.5 gigabit LAN. We have an optical out, and then we have also a lot of speaker options. Have one of these in my house. First computer I ever built, loved it. Not only that, we have a lot of really cool stuff like audio. There's even a TPM module on here, which is like a safety thing for CPUs. But this actually processor, all the 3000 series, comes with the encrypted module thing, the TPM modules. So all that Windows 11 stuff can be turned on in BIOS. But we have a USB 3.0 port, we have USB 1s, USB 2s, and then of course we have RGB stuff for lights and things, and then we have a bunch of fans. We have 4 SATAs here, we have 2 more SATAs here, and then we literally have fans and LEDs literally all over this thing. So I guess we could even do a system fan here if we really wanted to, but we're going to keep it like that because if you actually look on here, when you actually do some of these system fan ones here, CPU fan there, it'll actually show up on the motherboard, tell you how fast it's spinning. You can change the fan curves. Again, love this board. This board, $120 this time, okay? Can't beat it. Now you can get something cheaper, but you're going to be missing Wi-Fi, you're going to be missing some of these different ports, you're going to be missing some of the outs. You definitely aren't going to get heat sinks for your NVMe drives. So what we'll do next is we'll actually get this into here and we'll put down all the screw with the anchors and stuff. Next time you see us, it's going to be done. So what we're going to do, this is basically done at this point. We'll get it in there, we'll get a fan in there, we'll see if she posts, and we'll let you know how it goes. Thanks.
See you all next time.
Like and subscribe.